Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm super excited to introduce you to Gianluca, who's the marketing director from Home24. And Home24 has been working with Dynamic Yield for the last about 4 years, I think. And Gianluca is going to present to you today a case study of how they leveraged the personalization capabilities from Dynamic Yield throughout Black Friday to really drive scalable campaigns and really uncover the full potential of Black Friday for them. And as I'm sure all of you know, like Black Friday is such a critical weekend for the whole e-commerce business that this was, of course, one of the focus moments for Home24 throughout the last year. My name is Kerstin, and I'm working as a customer success manager at Dynamic Yield. And as such, I'm trying to support all of my clients in really building a relevant personalization roadmap, a strategy that helps them uncover the full potential within their customer base. So I'm working together with clients like Momox, MediaMarkt, or Mr. Specs, and it has been a very fun ride so far. Before I'll hand it over to Gianluca, I'd like to briefly say a couple of words about Dynamic Yield for the ones of you who don't really know the platform so far. So Dynamic Yield is a personalization platform. We really see its core capabilities in two different areas. The first being data and the second being user activation. So we collect a lot of different data points to infer valuable customer information that then helps us to activate a user to take a specific action, like for example, conduct a purchase. So this activation can, of course, occur across different touch points. So it could be web, it could be mobile, email, or an application. And we use tools like personalization campaigns, but also product recommendations or customer-specific messaging to really drive this activation. So for me, at the core of it all really lies an understanding of who your customer is. And that is, on one hand, of course, who your average customer might be, but also really who the different micro segments that you have and that really make up your valuable customer base, who these are and what they kind of react to, you know? Yeah, so it's very interesting. And I think really the precondition for making the most of the campaign is also to learn something about your customer and kind of to apply these learnings. Throughout the last year, I think the biggest moment or the biggest milestone for Dynamic Yield was for sure the acquisition by McDonald's. So I remember actually I was back then, I was traveling, I was on vacation in South America. And then suddenly Marcel, who's my boss, he called up to me and he said, right, Kerstin, you're working now for McDonald's. Did you know? I did not know, and I also did not see that coming. But I think it does make sense, you know, at the speed that we were growing and that we still are, you require financial backing to grow the platform in the same speed as your customer base does. And that is relevant if you want to keep up with the likes of Adobe or Oracle, especially if you want to be the best in class. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Gianluca, who's going to talk more about what kind of campaigns they actually used for Black Friday built in Dynamic Yield. Thank you.
Hello there, thank you so much, Kerstin. Today I want to talk to you about how in Home24 we prepared for this crazy period of the year called Black Friday, thanks to Dynamic Yield and thanks to the feature that they are offering. Who am I and what's Home24? I'm Gianluca Randisi and I'm the marketing director in Home24, working for the conversion and retention area of our business. I'm with Home24 since the year 2015, and Home24 is the leading pure play home and living e-commerce in Brazil and Europe. We do work in 8 countries worldwide. We do have more than 1 million active customers, and we do serve our customer with more than 100,000 products across different styles. Let me tell you first something about our relationship with Dynamic Yield. So we started our partnership back in the year 2015, and we decided to start our partnership with a very small scope, because already since the beginning, when the tool was presented to us, was showing a very interesting breadth of feature and possibility of implementation. But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that we could implement it fast, prove our point, and then proceeding with working with the new features. So back at the time, we decided to swap to Dynamic Yield, basically to optimize the merchandising assets. Back at the day, we were using several tools to show our campaign advertising within our own website, and they were all static tools, so there was no optimization rules based on target or affinity. There was no possibilities of A/B testing in a simple way different banners and assess the performance and so on. So combining this perspective with also having a new tool for lead generation and having Dynamic Yield as a partner who could offer also messaging possibilities, it looked like a sensible investment to make from our point of view. Right after, we decided also to start using Dynamic Yield for content and A/B testing. We figured out quite easily and quite soon how easy it was and how quick it was to start A/B testing every element of your website with Dynamic Yield. For the happiness of our product and development team, suddenly in marketing we were able to test every type of idea. Either it was a text in a banner, or a different graphics, or the color of a call to action, or the position of a call to action, or featuring an entire part of the website only and exposing it only to a specific target. It was super easy, and this helped us actually in speeding up our development, but also our ideation and validation process within Home24. The third step was the enablement of the product recommendation. So when using Dynamic Yield, you have the possibility to integrate your product feed with Dynamic Yield and your CRM data within Dynamic Yield. And thanks also to the fact that Dynamic Yield has their own pixel in their own tracking pixel within your website, they are able actually to provide their recommendation engine, which is an out-of-the-box recommendation engine with a lot of personalization and targeting capabilities, where you could use different strategies and different algorithms in a super simple and straightforward way. I'm pretty sure that if you had the opportunity or the chance to manage any type of discovery team or discovery related development process, you know how long and how tedious is the process of bringing a new algorithm to life. Meanwhile, with Dynamic Yield, we had all this speed at the same time, and it was a really nice surprise, combined with the fact that you can A/B test wherever you want and very quickly. Last but not least, after starting having a more intense usage of the tool, of course, we wanted also to have this tool providing the right information and customizing the personalized experience to our user in the fastest way as possible. That's the reason why we are now in the process of doing a Dynamic Yield account migration towards a server-side integration. So final complete integration of Home24 and Dynamic Yield to provide a better and faster experience to our users. So it took a little bit of time from 2015 till now, but we have been working with the tool under every kind of perspective and dimension, and we have been very happy to do. We have been very happy to do so. It's a relationship that has been growing with the Dynamic Yield tool, with the Dynamic Yield team as well, where we are also very happy of the support that we are getting. We are not only getting technical support with them, but we are also getting a customer success manager who are helping us reviewing our strategy, who are bringing us new use case based on their experience with global customers on how we can optimize, and based on the best practices from other business that could still be mirrored in our business itself. Let's go ahead. To give you just an idea of how deeply is Dynamic Yield integrated in our shopping experience, I want to give you just a few numbers. So right now, 95% of our clients or of our customers are interacting with Dynamic Yield within a day. This is actually a big number if you think that is almost your entire customer database. And on average, every single person getting contacts with Dynamic Yield 20 times during a session. If you see in this chart here, you can see easily how the personalization rate has been growing over the last 5 years within Home24, and you can see that actually it went more than the double. So it really doubled over the years, and this is thanks to experimenting new stuff, including new targeting criteria, including new segmenting criteria, and start really developing experiences that are tailor-made for different type of customers. Thanks to the integration we had with Dynamic Yield. But the problem for us was a specific moment in time, and it was how to prepare the best for Black Friday and for the November month. Why so? Because it is what we have seen is that both from a behavioral KPI perspective and from a conversion perspective, it's a period of the year where our business has a complete different purchasing pattern. And the question for us was, how can we adjust our website, our customer funnel to this period of the year without having to create a complete new front end on our side. So in order to do that, we came out with actually the results of using Dynamic Yield, and when using Dynamic Yield, we managed to have live at the same time during November 191 live personalization campaigns across 8 section or 8 language websites. With 652 running experiences at the same times and up to 801 variation impression per user. And from our side, we had nine people working with Dynamic Yield, preparing all these different experiences. Why 9 people working with Dynamic Yield? Because as I explained you before, the tool is kind of big. It gives you a possibility to provide different type of implementation, and you can interact with different parts of your website, but you will need also to have an holistic view on everything, and you will need to have a good mix between people with a basic front-end experience and coding experience, but also technical people who can understand how to integrate events from Google and how to integrate them with Dynamic Yield in order to trigger activities or customize the experience on our website. So the numbers were amazing from our point of view, and just the fact of saying we had 800 variation per user and more than 650 running experience simultaneously at the same time, it gives you the possibility to understand how big it can be the personalization for the users. But let's go one step back. So basically, what I told you at the beginning was that Black Friday, it's a moment. Black Friday in November. It's a moment of the year with his own website pattern. So why I'm saying so? Because when you look at our customer type, the usual customer type for a furniture e-commerce is someone who, on average, might come to your website multiple times before to make a purchase. Depending on what they have to purchase, this number can go up to 30 sessions before to have a conversion, and it can last also in an interval of time that will reach 120 days. So for 120 days, you're going to have people coming to your website, checking your assortment, evaluating your different products before to make actually a real purchase. During Black Friday and during November, this is not what's happening, because people wants to get a deal. They have the fear of missing out, and they are in this active psychological state of let's try to get it as soon as possible before it gets out of stock. But at the same time, we need to make sure from our perspective, as a company perspective, that we address the people with the right products and with the right campaign at the right time. Because every mistake we do in there, every product we sell to someone who might not be 100% sure about the product he bought and so on. Is it a problem for us when it comes to manage customer service peak load, return? We do have a free return, a free shipping and free return policy. So you can imagine how important it is for us also to take into account this perspective whenever we plan a campaign and whenever we want to basically serve our customers. So as I told you at the beginning, usually people are taking 120 days. They come to the website up to 30 times. During Black Friday, you have everything squeezed within 3 days or within 1 week, depending if you play it as a weekly, or within a month if you play it as a month. But still, the time frame it's rather short, and you want to have also the freedom to play with different deadlines or micro campaigns inside in order to keep the customer excited. So it's really important that you have the possibility of adjusting your website. What we did in Home24 then in order to do so, we started preparing really ahead of time. So we do approach Black Friday, the Black Friday weeks and the planning of November as a cross-departmental project. So imagine that we do have our friends, our commercial teams starting looking on how to prepare the assortment for Black Friday already in March or April. At the same time, the marketing team, together with the UI and UX team, is defining the strategy for the campaign, the phases of the campaigns, and the concept is defined by end of April, the latest, in order to have everything under control and to make sure that all the different departments, from commercial to the assortment to logistics and operation with the warehouse, are coming together and are organizing the good flow and in the most optimized way. So after this first part of planning, what we did in August was to sit down with the team, and after reviewing the KPIs of the past campaign, of the past experiences, we started kind of defining the friction point. So all these KPIs where we saw that there was a deviation from the expected results because of some reason, we started marking them down, saying, okay, why this KPI during Black Friday looking that way? What can be the cause? How do we solve it? And basically, we came out with a list of hypotheses and tests we wanted to run in order to see how we could improve these results. We had this list of tests, and we started running all these tests between August, September, and October. So everything was tested before Black Friday in order to come up with a list of winning features to use during the month of November. So what we did was basically we blocked development and testing over November. Everything that was required to be used during Black Friday and during November had to be tested ahead of time, and the winning variation was used into Black Friday. And during Black Friday, then of course we made sure that we had constant monitoring on all the activities we wanted to run. Where do we start? So the first part was to bring the customers to the Black Friday page. So as I told you at the beginning, one of the first reasons why we are using Dynamic Yield was to manage the merchandising assets and to drive customers to our pages. Whenever it's Black Friday or Black Friday weeks, our interest is always to make sure that the customer are landing to this Black Friday page or set of pages. In this case, we have created kind of a ecosystem of pages. Basically, it was kind of a shopping to the shop with a complete section about the Black Friday campaigns. And no matter whichever part of the website you would have landed, basically this section was heavily advertised thanks to Dynamic Yield. And within this section, as you can see, with banner on mobile, on the home page, or with what we call the global ribbon on the category pages or on the category pages on mobile, we were trying to address the traffic to land on this website. What we used with Dynamic Yield was always basically having limited time offers. So instead of having one campaign that lasts 1 week, having 2 phases, 3 days and 3 days, and remember to the users that the first phase is ending in X hours in order to stimulate even more the fear of missing out. The second part was to accompany the customers. So one of the things we have seen when we did this analysis of the features and of the KPIs that were a little bit off in comparison with the normal seasonality was the checkout success rate, the checkout abandonment rate, the cart abandonment rate, and actually the redemption of the vouchers that were usable during Black Friday. Why this is happening? Because especially whenever you have different vouchers, and it might be just that someone subscribed to the newsletter, he's receiving the newsletter voucher, and then it's coming to your page, you have a website campaign running with a different voucher, and the user doesn't know which voucher to use for what, and they will start dropping. So basically what we did back then was making sure that we were showing to the user the right voucher to show for each product and accompany the user across the different pages. So no matter from which type of traffic you would come, if you would land directly on a product page, or if you would come, for example, to what we call a quick view, you would always know if the product you are seeing is a product where the voucher is applicable and which one is the voucher that you could use. Going ahead, basically, I said that the campaign was divided in different groups. And as you can see here, we had one group with room-specific vouchers and one group with up to 200 super discounted products. Not only these two sections of the website, the pink and the green, they were active simultaneously, but with Dynamic Yield, we were able to understand, based on the assortment we had in the different groups, which one to show to which customers. And this was one part on the advertising strategy. From the optimization strategy, as you can see, here, this element here, it's all coming from Dynamic Yield, and the categories that we were showing were also coming from Dynamic Yield. So we were also able to show and rank which category was having the highest probability of generating a purchase for us, depending on the history of the customers. And this was also coming from Dynamic Yield. Last but not least, from a UX perspective, this bar that you see here, at the moment you will scroll down or scroll up on mobile, will appear in a minified version and will stay sticky here on the top of your page. Why we did so? Because we wanted to keep the user within the same page, and we want them to navigate within this ecosystem of page to make a purchase within the Black Friday, and this was also working very good. Last step, as I told you at the beginning, we wanted to make sure that the user knew which type of voucher they had to use. The only thing we don't wanted, especially during Black Friday, is to generate a peak of calls to our customer care, because people want to know which one is the voucher, where they can use it, where they will see if the voucher has been redeemed for the product they wanted to buy. So basically what we did was this ribbon with the voucher was present in the category page and in the campaign page, in the product page where the product was applicable. Then we were showing the same also in the cart page and in the checkout. So the voucher to use if you had a product in your only if you had a product in your basket that was eligible for the voucher, was shown at every stage of the conversion funnel. Why? It is Black Friday. People are trying to buy only if they can get a good deal. There is no point in making their life difficult. And what we did in here, since you might have understood, we had different phases and different vouchers. The last thing that was really an innovation for this quarter, for this year, was actually to tell the customer exactly which voucher to use. So we had for a period of time we had voucher at the same time live in our shop, and what we did basically by connecting our product feed with the information on which voucher to use, when the people would have landed on the checkout page, Dynamic Yield would have checked which product were in the cart, and depending if the products in the cart were part of the same voucher campaign or not, would have shown to the customer a message, hey, remember, this is the right voucher you could use, or hey, look, you have in your basket 2 products that are eligible for 2 different vouchers. If you want to use them both, actually, we suggest you to place 2 different orders. And this was a measure that we put in place also to reduce load on customer service, but also to improve checkout success rate, and it had great results. So these were a few of the activities we did run with Dynamic Yield during Black Friday, and I just want to give you a quick recap of what we did and how we did so. So the achievements were the following. So the Black Friday pages were the pages with the highest traffic. It had all the personalization experiences we put in there, had a very positive impact on bounce rate and exit rate, ways higher than expected, ways higher than what we could see comparing the year-over-year Black Friday period. We also had a very positive engagement development, and the customer service requests were at stable level, which was a very good results, considering that usually during Black Friday, just because the amount of orders you are getting, it's increasing. Also, the customer service request usually goes up. But this was for us a clear signal that what we did was well done and well prepared, and actually helped us achieving the results. And of course, we also had a positive impact on the checkout success rate with the low abandonment rate of cart, and with people buying the products they wanted using the right vouchers, without having to stress out why my voucher is not working, why I cannot use my voucher for all the products I have in there. How did we get there? Simply, my suggestion are super straightforward. Start planning ahead of time. Look at data, but look at the data from your client's perspective. Whenever you see something off with your data, try to understand why there is a change in the behavioral pattern in this period of time. Basically, try to highlight the frustration point and to remove them from the customer journey. Even taking some bold decision, like for us, the decision of showing a voucher at every step was a natural decision, because we don't want to hide anything to our customers. If we are doing a campaign, we want them to actually profit for it and make sure that they can use it in a easy way, instead of trying to get crazy in order to save half a point of margin that was already taken in consideration for this period of time. And then, of course, plan carefully your action. So plan carefully, because you will need to test everything ahead of time. You don't want to have any tests running during a delicate period of time as the Black Friday period. During Black Friday period, you need to have the ability of detect and understand why there might be any anomaly, really straight to the point, right quickly, as soon as possible. And if you have several tests running in parallel, you will never be able to do so. So whatever feature you want to test it ahead of time. Enter in the Black Friday phase with the testing freeze, with the development freeze, know exactly what to expect, and then start looking for the deviation and fixing it in a very efficient manner. Plan with efficiency and plan with automations. Automations means scaling. As I said at the beginning, we had up to 800 different experiences on our shop. All the experience were usually changed over midnight, and this was possible only because we had a flexible team as Dynamic Yield, where we could plan all the go live in advance, check everything in advance, and do massive production on a scale and replicate it to different countries. So don't think you can do everything manually. You will need also support of machines in order to personalize the experience to your user and to show relevant content at the scale. So you can do everything. Just try to organize everything ahead of time. Try to understand the problem for your customers. Narrow down what are the tests that you could do ahead of time in order to simplify or solve this problem for your customers. Put them in a testing plan. Go ahead, find the optimal setup of features, and then scale on these in the preparation phase before go live, and then rely on your team in order to make sure that the results will go on the way you expected. So this is everything from my side. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward for your question.